Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
It's time! 15 seconds from game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead! Behind the screen, Harper got a piece of it, it comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Tying run at second, 2 out, Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
To the far side around the 8-yard line to Hester. Under it, and to the middle with the 15, to the 20, breaks free of the 25, to the 30, to the outside, 40, midfield, 40, 30 of the coast, 20, 15, Hester 5. Oh!
Toward Bryant. You were Blevins through to Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn Sierra Sports. Woo-wee! On this Hump Day edition, I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. If you're not following us on Facebook, what? Come on, go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the like button. Now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. Simple. All right. Now, if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, excellent. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, for real. Come on, guys, go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button, but also click the notification button. That's the little bell that's next to it, and that'll let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. Get it? Got it? Good. Now, you can also tweet us at Sports Zone Shy. That's CHI at Sports Zone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me personally online. You want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. Man, we got a great show for you, but I need you to get interactive. So whatever platform you're watching us on, whether it's Facebook or YouTube page, if you have a question or comment on that platform, it'll come up here in a thread. We'll put it up on the screen. We'll incorporate it to the show. And that, my people, is what makes this the best morning sports talk show around. And that's you. So bring them all, baby. Questions, comments, smart-ass remarks, because ain't nobody scared over here. And like The Rock said, baby, don't sing it. Just bring it. Let's see, man. The chat is jumping this morning already. I like it. I like it a lot. Cornelia Squalls checking in, say, what up, Shawn Sierra fans. Now, the real story is the Cubs are 16 games over 500. Boo. Who cares? My man Armando Emeterio Lara Jr. is in the house. He said, good morning, y'all. Levette Lee, please don't come on blaspheming here again. It's happy hump day, y'all. Go Cubs, go. No, Cubs, no. And she's like, oh, yeah, yay, Sox. Wow, that sounds like a sarcastic comment. Call me crazy. I don't know. Anyway, Mr. Shorty is in the house. It's the top of the morning. What's up, Mr. Shorty? How you doing, Papa? Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Rashawn Walls in the Mickey Ficky house. What up on a rainy hump day? Go Sox. Yeah, it is rainy. Man, I'm telling you, it was difficult getting up this morning, going to CrossFit. Woo-wee. And that workout was a beast in the rain. You know, I didn't do it in the rain, but just getting there. Whew. Black Diamond coming out talking shit already. Top of the morning. HC High. See, the high school team won for once. Meanwhile, the real baseball team has won 38 of them. It's in first place. Good morning to you too, Black Diamond. Talking that shit first thing in the morning, huh? Oh, man. James Ford checking in. What's up, Bubba? How are you? Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Wow, thank you, Shorty. This is Shawn. Your Monday, Wednesday, Friday commitment to this is truly admirable, my friend. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Rick Gonzalez checking in. What's up, baby? He said, good morning, Shawn. Nice win for the good guys. Yes, it was. Said, what do you prefer more, the Big Mac or the Double Whopper? Double Whopper for me all day. FGB. Dude, I love when you end all your freaking posts with FGB. I freaking love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, Rick, what's FCM? Who's CM? Oh. I'm trying to figure it out. Maybe I'm Tittere, and it's possible. It could be the Tittere one. What's FCM? I don't know. Anyway, but listen. I don't know a lot about a lot, but I do know there's more than usual suspects. Oh, Chicago media. Hey, I resemble that remark. I got you, Rick. Okay. I don't know a lot about a lot, but I do know there's more than usual suspects. We'll chime in as the show goes on. That, my peoples, I can promise you. Listen, we got a great show for you today. My man Brandon Scoop B. Robinson is going to join us at 10 o'clock at the top of the hour. We're going to talk NBA Finals. A lot of basketball news. So, listen. Do you even know who's in the NBA Finals? Many people don't. And I'll tell you what, this could be one of the least watched NBA Finals of all time. You got Indiana and you got OKC, two very small markets. You lost New York. All right, and they're watching power, they're viewing power. You probably lost much of the East Coast due to New York being out, which is a lot. New York, Boston, Philly, DC, Miami. And who the hell cares about OKC? This could be one of the worst watched or least watched finals in a long time. And the sad part is they're both really good teams. They're both really, really good teams, and no one gives a damn. Nobody gives a damn. I know I don't give a damn. Look at Rick Gonzalez, same thing. He's like, I have no care for either squad. I agree. There's no star power. I mean, SGA, but I know he's the MVP, but it's like, So we're going to talk to Brandon at 10 and see what he feels and why. What can be done to try and get some ratings for this thing. Also, former Bulls head coach Tom Thibodeau gets fired in New York after losing the Eastern Conference Finals. He got into the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years. He got him back with back-to-back 50-plus win seasons, the first time since 1995, and they fire him. Who the hell are they looking at now? I'll tell you what, these players, they got no draft capital. They traded for Malik Bridges. Man, and you're going to bring a new coach into this when everyone on that team was 10 toes down for Thibodeau. So we're going to talk to Brandon Scoopy Robinson and find out what the hell is going on over at Madison Square Garden. What the hell is going on? Because that is insane. And we're going to talk a little baseball. The good guys with a big win. You saw the thumbnail, a preview for the show with a big win. A little ass whooping yesterday. After the ass whooping we got, we came back and decided to hand one out. So we have a 4-game set. Today, game 3. So we're going to talk about that. The Cubs continue to win. Cubs continue to win. Somebody mentioned, I don't know, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 games over 500. Who cares? No, they're playing well. All BS aside, they're playing well. And let me tell you, it's a good time to be a Cub fan. All right? It's a good time to be a Cub fan. Your top 2 pitchers are out. You're still 16 games over 100. In the first time since, 2018? You've been 15 games, minimum 15 games over 500? Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. You're 8-2 in your last 10 games. Only the Mets were 8-2 in their last 10 games. Again, you're also tied for the best record in the National League with the Mets. The only team better than Major League Baseball was a team that we whooped at, whose asses we whooped yesterday, and that's the Detroit Tigers. Detroit sucks. Sorry to all my Detroit fans. Actually, no, I'm not. We laid a smackdown on that candy ass yesterday, 8-1. Don't come into our house talking smack, boy. You're going to do it again today, baby. Do it today. So we got a lot of sports, baby, and I'm fired up about it. I'm really, really fired up to talk about it. We got some news on the Bears. The Bears were in practice yesterday. We got some news about another team. We got a stadium. The stadium is about to be built on the 77. It's not who you think it was going to be. We're going to talk about that. So, man, we got a whole bunch to talk. So, like our old Uncle Hawk Harrelson used to say, sit back, relax, and strap it down. We got a lot of stuff coming on Shawn Sierra Sports. Rick says, normally after we score 8 runs, Shawn, we don't do all the next game. Yeah, we kind of blow our load and then we're done. Like, I'm done. So it's possible we lose today, but then win tomorrow. It's possible. And we split the series. That'd be a nice feat. All right. That would be a really nice feat if the White Sox were able to split this 4-game set with the Detroit Tigers. That's a huge win. Huge win. Shut the front door. Foster's Covers Cut. Check it in. Hope everyone is well. Good morning, sir. Thank you for tuning in. The Plankster checking in. What's up, Papa? Says leaving for California tomorrow evening. Not looking forward to it. I've never been on a plane before. Wow, really? Wow. Okay. It's fine, bro. I'm telling you, it's fine. Don't get freaked out. I mean, what in particular has you freaked out, Plank? What in particular has you freaked out? Don't say the dangers of, you could crash. Hell, you can get carjacked and shot driving around any time. There are more car crashes than plane crashes. You know what I mean? So what is it literally that has you concerned? And not that I'm minimizing it at all. I'm not minimizing it at all. I understand there's plenty of fears for different people, and I want to know what your fear is for flying because it's your first time. Said I'm a rock star, Shawn. You know that don't mix. You scared to be like Richie Valens? Buddy Holly? Nah, Baba, don't trip. Don't trip. So what has you going to Cali? Make sure on your list, on your playlist, make sure you got Diddy, but Biggie's going back to Cali. I'm going back to Cali. I'm going. And LL Cool J's. I'm going back to Cali. I'm going back to Cali. I don't think so. Gotta have those things. Oh, I said my wife has friends we're going to visit. Cool, man. Make sure you have that on your playlist, both of those songs. Get your shades. You got a pimp. You got a front when you're on that plane, when you get off the plane. Here's the one thing. Let me tell you this. Be comfortable going to the airport. All right? Be comfortable. Because you don't know if you're going to be delayed on the plane, you're on the tarmac. All right? If your flight gets delayed or canceled and you have to wait at the airport, be comfortable. Wear comfortable shoes. Okay? Make sure your phone's charged. Obviously, you're going to bring a charger. Your headphones, make sure you have those charged. Either the regular, like the Beats, or if you have the hook ones, the small ones. All right? Make sure those are fully charged. But be comfortable. All right, be comfortable. All right, if you go, wear a matching sweatsuit. Okay, not that you're gonna need a sweatsuit because it's probably gonna be warm over there, but you know what I'm saying. Some people get new shoes, walking shoes or running shoes. All right, nice. Probably your best pair of jeans and a t-shirt, and a baseball hat, sunglasses. Just be comfortable. Whatever's comfortable for you, do that thing, Papa. Because you just never know at an airport. You just never know. All right. Your wife's not going to have to pull a B.A. Baracus on you, is she? Or she's going to have to give you a shot in the neck to knock you out? Yeah, be comfortable is the most important thing, bro. Be comfortable and get there early. Get there early. She might have to. Or just go to the bar. Buy some overpriced drinks at the airport. Calm you down a little bit. Chill you out. Where are you flying out of? O'Hare, Midway? O'Hare, Midway, because that's O'Hare is a pain because it's so big. Midway is a lot more intimate, smaller. You won't get lost as easily. Very difficult to get lost at Midway. But yeah. Well, good, Papa. Safe travels. Let me know O'Hare or Midway. And you're gonna have fun out there. All right. Over Mulholland Drive. Are you going to LA? Because you're going to Cali. You're going to LA, you're going to Frisco. Where are you going? You're going to Southern California, you're going by the Bay. Those are two different spots. If you're going to Southern Cal, we're leaving out of Indy. We have a layover at Midway on the way back. Okay. Oh, okay, you're flying out of Indy. So you're out of Indy. Okay. Well, cool, man. Again, happy, safe travels. Check that off your bucket list. It's going to be a good time. And again, if you're going down to Southern California, yeah, it is a little weird. A lot of weird jokers over there. Bay Area is not as weird, but there's some weird. California, for all intents and purposes, have some oh, snap. Southern Cal. You landed in San Diego, then heading to Temecula. Very nice. Okay, you're down in Southern Cal. Okay. Hope they take you to vineyards. There's a couple vineyards down there. Down in and around San Diego. I was at one. What's the name of it? Man, that was nice. And it's cool, man. It is dope. Dope as all get out. Let's see. Dope as all get out. If you get a chance, again, have them take you to winery. Here we go. Orfila, Orfila. Orfila Vineyards and Winery. San Diego's award-winning winery. Yeah. You know what? Here, I'll tell you what, I'm going to I still have that picture. I'm going to post a picture for you. So if you get a chance to go to Orfila Winery, or if they ask, is there anything you want to see, do that. And I'll tell you what, the picture, it is gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I got to go all the way down. Hold on. Uh-oh. One of the most beautiful scenes I've seen here in the States. I lived in Italy, so I got to see some mountains and some terrain that was just gorgeous. Okay, but this was one of the most beautiful spots I had seen in this country. The hills are gorgeous. There you go. I'll pull it up in a second. But man, you're gonna have a good time, Papa. Man, if you do get to do that and check that out, dude, I'm telling you. Or if you just want to be like, guy, hey, I got a spot. My guy turned me on. I got a spot. So here's the Orfila Winery. And look at this view. Look at that view. They sell the little charcuterie boards there, so you can buy it there and sit there. There's obviously it's under a little like canopy and shit, and you can sit there and take pictures. Yeah. So if you get a chance, Orfila, Orfila Winery, Vineyard and Winery. Great, great, great. Beautiful, beautiful area, let me tell you. So let's see who else checking in. Aha, King Book of World. Salute everybody. And Shawn, good morning, Papa. How are you? Rick, don't tell anyone you're from Chicago. I tried that once in Cleveland at a bar. When I told her I'm from Chicago, she got up off my lap and left the bar. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. That's funny. Well, good stuff. Again, safe travels. If you can hit that vineyard, man, it is, whew, I'll tell you what, beautiful. One of the most beautiful, beautiful scenes that I've seen in this country. Man. Listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. All right, on the other side of the break, all right, we'll get into top of the morning topics. I promise. And at the top of the hour, my man, Brandon Scoop B. Robinson's going to join us. Talk NBA action. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn Sierra Sports on Sports Zone Chicago.
Many will hear the calling. Few will earn the title. United States Marine. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
How do you take care of your mind health?
For my mental health, I meditate in the mornings.
I have my dogs. They're the best.
I just find ways that help me just relax.
Finding things that make me happy, like being close to my family.
I meditate a lot and read books.
I have hobbies outside of the game. I'm able to switch off. I'm able to turn my brain off from the game of basketball.
Your mind health matters.
Your mind health matters.
We are looking for a few heroes, mentors, trailblazers, innovators, a passion to change lives, spark curiosity, open hearts, and awaken minds, help students answer the question, who am I? This could be your calling, but this is no job. It's the journey of a lifetime. Be a hero. Be a teacher.
Mental health and learning disorders don't discriminate. 17 million children and adolescents in the United States live with disorders like anxiety, depression, ADHD, and dyslexia. Less than half get the help they need to thrive. Help the Child Mind Institute change these children's lives. Visit childmind.org.
And Horner against their former teammate Trevor Williams.
Bush out to right field, and Michael Bush puts one in fair territory. Michael Bush heads to second. Michael Bush rounds second. Michael Bush to third, and Michael Bush with a leadoff triple.
Huge plus if you get this guy off the base paths.
Line drive down the right field line. That's a base hit. Pete Armstrong around first. He's going for two. The throw by Lyle to second base. Head first slide. Safe at second base. He might be the only man in America who could have turned that ball into a double run.
Here for Dalen Lyle with a man in scoring position.
Flair out towards short. Swanson back. What a catch! Oh, Dansby, so smooth.
Dansby ran out, never took his eye off the ball. With his back to the infield, slid and made the catch going away from the.
Welcome back to Shawn Sierra Sports on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of the Marquee Network. Those were the Northsiders yesterday with an 8-3 win over the Nats down to the nation's capital. Well, listen, let's get it cracking, baby. You know what time it is. The first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
She won't come just when you want it.
First top of the morning topic. Let's see which way do we go. Which way do we go? Man, I didn't delete all these things. Damn. Here we go. You know what time it is. You know what we're going to do. The good guys, baby. The good guys. Oh. There you go. My bad. The good guys. The White Sox beat the Detroit Tigers, 8-1 yesterday. Shane Smith, he got the W. He's 2-3 on the season with a 5. He went 5 1/3, 3 hits of scoreless baseball, 2 walks, 6 punch outs. Michael Taylor was 1 for 2 with a homer, his third of the year, driving in 4 ribbies. His 12th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th RBIs of the season. Austin Slater was 2 for 4 with a double, his 4th, 2 RBIs, his 3rd and 4th of the season. Michael Tauchman, 7th RBI, and Chase Mydroff, the youngster, continued to do things well. He drove in his 6th RBI of the season. All right, keeping it going. You see the gentleman we have there on a screen, Luis Robert. Luis Robert's been given a few days off due to his struggles. He's having a tough time. He got bumped down in the lineup, okay, to kind of take pressure off him. And then the manager, Will Venables, said, hey, we're going to give you a couple days off just to kind of clear your mind. The 27-year-old star is just having a rough time. And, you know, it's just, I understand. It's a difficult thing. Okay. You've had success your entire baseball career. You've been a stud your entire baseball career. And now you're struggling. And then you've been struggling since you've got to Chicago. You haven't been the star that you've been down in Cuba, in the minors. And that takes its toll. And then all your people that you came up with, that you were in the minors with, Yoel Moncada, Tim Anderson, Eloy Jimenez. Okay, those guys are gone. You can't even go through this thing with people that you've developed. I say that in air quotes. People that you came up through the minors with. So I get it. All right. Next top of the morning topic, game 3 of the 4-game set is today. First pitch is at 6:40 p.m. Central. You can catch that game on Chicago Sportsnet or listen to it on their flagship station, ESPN 1000. Probables for today's game for Detroit Tigers. Sawyer Gibson Long, he's making his 2025 debut going up against Shawn Burke, who's on the bump for the good guys. Uh-oh. He's not 3-76. Who's to do with the fat fingers who can't type? Oh, that's me. That's me. He's not 3-76. He's 3-6. That's funny. There we go. He wouldn't even be on a roster. There we go. So he gives along for the Detroit Lions, Tigers, and Bears. Oh my. I'm kidding. Detroit Tigers, then Shawn Burke, who's 3-6. Next top of the morning topic. Cubs. Cubs continue their hot ways. Again, they're 8-2 in their last 10 games. Cubs beat the Washington Nationals 8-3. Gabe Orton, man, another win for the youngster. He's 3-0. He went 5 1/3, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 free pass, and 3 punch-outs. Michael Busch, 3 for 4 with a triple. His third, you saw that in the highlights, a homer. His 9th, 3 RBIs, 34th, 35th, and 36th of the season. Nico Horner was 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs, his 27th and 28th of the season. Dansby Swanson drove in his 33rd and 34th runs of the year. Staying with the next top of the morning topic, the Cubs play the Nationals again today. First pitch is at 5:45 p.m. Central Time. You can catch that game on the Marquee Network or listen to it on their flagship station, 670 a.m. The probables for tonight's game for the Northsiders on the bump, Matthew Boyd, who's 5-2 with a 3.08 ERA, going up against Mackenzie Gore for the Nats. He's 2-5 with a 3.16 ERA. Next top of the morning topic is one that is a little bit interesting. Interesting. Chicago Fire. Fire. Chicago Fire will build a new stadium using their own money. Crazy idea. In the neighborhood, the 78, in the South Loop, right there on Roosevelt and Canal, right where the White Sox were planning or had planned to build a new stadium. But the White Sox were going down to Springfield trying to get public funding. Joe Mansueto, the Fire owner, said, I'll just pay for this damn thing myself. It's only 22,000. It's a small, intimate venue. But let me tell you something. This thing, there's a lot of good stuff that's happening here. You build another outdoor arena, smaller concerts can be there. High school football games can be there. For 22,000, yeah, that's a nice little. It's about the size of it's smaller than a Texas high school football stadium. That's a nice little intimate thing, but it's perfect for Chicago games, and they can host a lot of various events there as well. So the question is, why were they able to get this done and the Bears not? Remember, Jerry Reinsdorf was going downtown or downstate. He wanted public funds, tip funds that were set aside specifically for that area to build a stadium. We saw the renderings, but he wanted public funding. Joe Mansueto said, I don't need your stinking badges. I don't need your stinking public funding. I'll do it myself. And that is huge. That, my peoples, is very, very, very huge. And, the crazy part about it is that the Bears president, Kevin Warren, said that they were going to break ground this year. And they still have a chance. They can still go break ground. By the end of the year, there's plenty of time. However, seeing that the fire went and got this done quick, fast, in a hurry, leads one to believe what is taking the Bears so long. Are they playing too many games? What kind of nonsense is this? What kind of nonsense is this? Because, again, they talked about breaking ground. We're going to break ground by the end of 2025. Shawn Wallace said, because old man Reinsdorf is so cheap to get a new stadium. Yeah, he is. Shorty says, oh my God, what's going to become of Soldier Field now? It's going to be there. You'll still have concerts there. I think you'll still have. The Bears are still going to be there for a while. The Bears are still going to be there. Team Booker Will. Joe Mansueto is about to make his money back tenfold. I agree. I mean, think of all the smaller artists. Okay? Think of all the smaller artists out there that can fill a 22,000-seat arena or facility. Maybe not a 60,000 seat like Soldier Field, but a 22,000. There's a lot more artists out there that can fill a 22,000 seat arena. And then you got to take some of that out for if there's a stage and they cut off one end. So you're talking 15, 18,000. There's a lot of artists out there who can possibly do that. Hell, if they sell 10,000 of the 15,000 seats. Yeah, he's about to make his money back tenfold. And guess what? The city still gets money. Of every ticket they sell, there's going to be a city tax. Of every ticket they sell. If they have a parking lot, because that's a big space. If they put a parking lot in there, guess what? Every parking space sold, every car that comes in, it's going to pay a city tax. So it ends one. People have to believe, what the hell are the Bears doing? Shawn says the state has total control over funding. I know. But why wouldn't the Bears just say, hey, we'll build our own thing? Right, Rick, right. I assume Soldier Field will become the Fire Stadium. See, it can't, because that is too big for them. Soccer doesn't have that appeal. All right, soccer doesn't have. There aren't enough Chicago Fire fans to fill a 60,000 seat arena stadium. They don't have that many fans. The Fire aren't that good. A whole bunch of things. They built something smaller, more intimate, like when they were in Bridgeview at SeatGeek. It was a lot more intimate setting, a much smaller venue, and the games were crowded. There was an intimate setting that you can feel the energy of a fully packed house. So the Fire said, hey, we'll build it. And it's going to make the Fire more valuable as well by owning their own stadium. And they're going to make money off of everything else, all the other events that I just listed that can go there. So keeping that moving. Let's see some of the other people. Yeah, too big of a stadium. Rick says Fire get like 20,000 fans per game, so Soldier Field's way too big. Yeah, definitely. Nah, I don't know. You still got concerts there, bro. You still got concerts there. Mr. Shorty says Soldier Field is going to be a rotting corpse sitting on the lakefront. No, they can still do everything, and only thing you're going to subtract are the 10 Bears games a year. Believe me, they can find other things to fill it with. King Booker World, interesting. He said he should right now get the rights and permission to have Chicago's version of Summer Jam every year, but have house music, old and new performers having a concert. That'd be crazy. That would. Foster Covers says, I used to love Chicago, but it's fading away. No, it's not fading away. They're just charging you out of the ass for everything. Yeah, House Music Festival and old school DJs performing for Chicago. Call it Bringing Out a House Festival. I like it. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Well, keeping it moving. The next top of the morning topic. This was a surprise to many. The Knicks have fired head coach Tom Thibodeau just a week after leading the team to their first Eastern Conference final in 25 years. 25 years. 2000 was the last time they got to the Eastern Conference Finals. What the hell are you doing there, Knicks? Jesus Christ. Ridiculous. Back-to-back 50-win seasons for the first time since the end of 94, 95. Come on, man. What are you doing? I don't even know. So we're going to talk about this with Brandon Scoop B. Robinson. He's going to join us at the top of the hour. Talk NBA Finals. But this came as a shock. I mean, we saw it here. You know, there's nothing different. Tibbs liked to play his people. He would run the stars into the ground. He'd have a 7-man rotation, maybe 8. Maybe 8. And the 8th would be only because there was an injury or someone he didn't expect got into foul trouble. Shorty says, wow, New York is that dumb. Yes. Junior with the pleasantries. Screw the Knicks and the ratchet fans. Cornelius, you got it right. Name somewhere that's not charging you for everything. Yeah. But we saw it here. He would play his superstars. He played his superstars late. Remember, Derrick Rose got hurt. They were up late in the game. It was like 3 minutes to go. He should have been out. Did the same thing when he was in Minnesota. He did the same thing in New York. Now, is that the reason? I don't know. But what they said, and here was a crazy part. What they said, let me make sure I have it correct. Oh, puta de madre. All right. You guys stink. You know that? There we go. So I'll read it to you. I'll read you what they were saying because it doesn't make any sense to me. You know, Jalen Brunson, Chicagoland's very own, when the season was over a couple days ago, said Thibodeau was the right guy. He was asked, he said, Cole, is that a real question right now? Did you just ask me if I believe he's the right guy? Yes. Look at the things that they did. They invested a lot of money and resources over the last year and a half. Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, Karl Anthony Towns. And the owner said that it was about moving closer toward a championship. Well, guess what? I think you moved farther away from a championship. Not that I think that they were going to win a championship anyway, but you don't take the guy that you don't leave your team without a leader. Guy who just got you to the Eastern Conference Finals. You fire him? And he just signed an extension last year. He also the Knicks got to this conference semifinals for 3 years in a row. That hadn't happened since 2000. I don't know. But again, former Bulls head coach. And a lot of people don't like the Knicks, and that's okay. I get it. I'm cool with it. I understand. I kind of sort of wanted them to get to the finals because I know, first of all, I went to school with a lot of New Yorkers. My roommate from college. A college roommate's a New Yorker, talking like this. He's a big Knicks fan. I love talking shit to him in 91, 92 when the Bulls won the title. I couldn't talk shit to him in 93 because we graduated and the Knicks were actually leading the Bulls 2-0 before the Bulls came back and won that series in 6. So I didn't get to talk to him. And back then, that was 1993. There were no cell phones that had, we were able to call people. And that was a long distance call. And I wasn't playing. Mom wasn't playing that. Mom wasn't playing that. But they've never, the people that I know, they've never witnessed a world championship by the Knicks. They were young. They were 73 is the last year they won it. My people are 2 years old max that I know, or little older, a little younger. They don't remember that. They don't remember that. So, quite interesting why the Knicks would do that. Junior says Cat played like shit last series. I agree. Cornelius, I don't agree with you. I don't think Bridges played like shit. I think he had a decent series. I think he was a king of the mid-range. Give him some mid-range jumpers. Man, he had a good fadeaway going. It's a shorty. Said, I went to Popeyes last week. Cost me $34 because I wanted extra mashed potatoes and gravy with my tenders. Damn, how many tenders you get, dog? 20 piece? Rick says, $34 back in the 90s, you could have fed your family 3 times over. You're damn right. Oh, damn, that was an 8-piece. An 8-piece with mashed potatoes hit you for $34. Ouch. Woo. I wanted a 6-piece. That's crazy. That is crazy. So, yeah, I don't know what. It's a shorty. $34 in the 90s was a prime dinner for 2. Yeah. It was pretty close. I'd say probably $50 to $60 was a prime dinner for 2. I lost count of all the shots in the paint that Bridges missed. Okay. Prime rib. Yeah, I could see that in the 90s. So that was crazy. $34 for 8-piece and mashed potato, extra upcharge for mashed potatoes. That's out of control. That's crazy. But now where do the Knicks go? King Booker will said $34 in the 90s with 2 months supply at Aldi's. Dude, I was just saying it the other day. We were talking about it. You put the S on Aldi's and Jewel. So the Aldi's and the Jewels. It's silent in Illinois, but you hear it in Aldi and Jewel. That's how you know you're real Chicago. I got to go to the Jewels. I'm going to Aldi's. Oh, man. Man, you guys are taking me back. Alshon Jeffries, too? That's right, Rick. That's another one. His name is Alshon Jeffrey. We threw the S on Alshon Jeffries. Oh, that's classic. That is classic. You guys are awesome. I'm telling you. That is classic. Oh, my goodness. Oh, wow. They put a new Aldi's right next to us in Florida with self-checkout. They don't even card you for alcohol. They use the camera to tell your age. What? Damn. That's crazy. Yeah, because they do sell. They sell wine. They sell a lot of wine. They've had that for a couple of years now in Aldi's. In the Aldi's. Yeah, the biggest issue with Aldi was the lines when I only wanted 5 things. Yeah. And I still hate the self-checkout. I will wait for a person. Like I go to Dollar Tree. And the lady's like, oh, we have a lot of self-checkouts. I'm like, I don't work here. People think I'm an asshole, but I don't. So not only are you charging me, not only have you jumped up in price from Dollar Tree, everything's more than $1 now, at least $1.25. But now I got to work and I got to check myself out. No, I'm waiting. Damn it, bump that. But listen, here we go. We're gonna take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we're going to welcome Brandon Scoop B. Robinson. All right, we got a lot of stuff, a lot of NBA stuff to talk. Again, we're going to talk Tom Thibodeau because I'm fired up. Why the hell that happened? That was coming out of nowhere. All right. So Scoop B coming up on the other side of the break. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn Sierra Sports on Sports Zone Chicago. Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
Hi, guys. Hey. Hi, Megan. Hey, Jessica. Megan, you're a tramp. Ryan Fitch told me you guys made out. Everybody knows. He said your breath smells like garbage. And he almost puked. He says you're the most desperate girl he knows, besides your mom. How many boyfriends does she have anyway? Lots? Your makeup makes you look like a clown. That zit is huge, zit face.
Kleber Torres on the ground and is backhanded by Capra. Starts it off. Throw by Mydroth. And they erase that leadoff walk with a double play. Michael A. Taylor deep in the air to left field. Back he goes! And he's gone! Cue the fireworks! And the Sox take a 4-0 lead after 6. This one is smoked to left field, and it's going to one-hop off the wall. Vargas, he will score. Benintendi, the windmill is on. He will come across. Slater drives in 2 with a double here in this 7th, and the Sox take a 6-1.
Yeah, baby, baby. Welcome back to Shawn Sierra Sports on Sports Zone Chicago. Those tips courtesy of Chicago Sports Network. Those are the good guys from the South Side. Whooping that lady smack down on the candy ass of the best team in baseball. The Detroit sucks. I mean, Detroit Tigers have the best record in baseball. Man, after opening a can of whoop ass on us the day before, the Sox returned the favor yesterday. We got 2 more games in that set today and tomorrow. But the NBA Finals, we're going to switch gears. The NBA Finals start mañana. And there's a lot of news about that, but also the New York situation that we talked about. So no better person that I can think of to talk NBA than my guy, my next guest. He's been on here plenty of times, and you can find him on Twitter at Scoop B. Guys, just welcome back to Shawn Sierra Sports. Brandon Scoop B. Robinson. B, what up, Papa? How are you?
Man, I'm doing good. Happy Wednesday. How are you?
Good, man. Happy hump day to you too, man. It's I'm a little tired. My workout kicked my ass this morning, but it's a good ass kicking.
Good. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. So the man, I'll tell you what. The NBA Finals. We'll talk about Tibbs in a second, but the NBA Finals start tomorrow. How confident are you, or what is your thought? These are 2 very small markets. I know the executives are probably not happy. You lost the New York market when the Knicks got eliminated. Did they lose the whole East Coast because the Knicks got eliminated? And do you see it as being one of the lowest watched NBA finals in a while?
I think if you're a basketball purist, you enjoy the two teams that are there, particularly because of how they got there. I think a lot of times we look at New York, LA, Chicago as the end-all be-all for ratings purposes, and I think, that pays the bills. But I also think that we've seen smaller markets before, and most recently when you looked at the Denver Nuggets and the Miami Heat, although I don't look at Miami as a small market, it's still a market where things get done. But I think people were bored with Jokic, but Jokic was effective. You look at some years ago when you looked at the Phoenix Suns and you looked at the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't know what the ratings were, but that was an entertaining series nonetheless back in 2021. But I think ultimately, when you look at the two teams and you see how they got there, I think our country is still learning many of the players that are involved in Oklahoma. I think that the general audience only looks at Oklahoma as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They may look at Jaden Williams, but they definitely have a story to tell. I've been around that team off and on for about 3 years, and I've gotten to know the guys and really like their story. On the Pacers side, I think Halliburton as well as the Pacers themselves going toe-to-toe with the Cavs and taking care of business, beating the Bucks and ultimately beating the Knicks. I think that there is a story there, but there's more out there than just Halliburton. So I think that our country is going to learn a lot of these guys and these storylines pretty quick, but it may not be the New York-LA matchup that people are expecting. That's my diplomatic answer. I just like good basketball, and I think those two teams definitely have played good basketball.
I agree with you, and I think they've lost a lot of watching power, but this is going to be some good ass basketball, man. Both these teams, you got the MVP and SGA. There's a lot of good players. It's just, I just think a lot of people are going to miss it. How the hell did OKC get so good? And I shouldn't say so fast because it wasn't so fast. That was definitely not an overnight situation. It took them a while. And now they still have like 45 draft picks in the next 4 or 5 years. How the heck did they do that? And how the heck did it take them to get so good to the point where now they're in the NBA Finals?
It started in 2019 when the Clippers and the Oklahoma City Thunder made a trade, shipping Paul George to the Clippers in exchange for one and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And it matriculated from there. Sam Presti definitely has a good team around him in the front office, and starts with coaching, bringing in Coach Mark, and also just drafting well. When I look at this Oklahoma City Thunder team, I think this is a continuation of where they kind of left off at when they had the last iteration of Kevin Durant, as well as Russell Westbrook and James Harden. And you literally built a team through the draft and, a couple free agency signings and a couple of trades. But, I've gone on record and said that I felt like the most underrated move of the offseason last year was the Thunder trading with the Chicago Bulls, shipping Giddey to the Bulls in exchange for Alex Caruso, a guy who's definitely has championship experience, rather. He definitely is a defender that I think once the finals get started, I think people will start mentioning him amongst great defenders like Shane Battier and Bruce Bowen. He was brought in to guard the best team's perimeter guy, whether that's Pascal or even if that's if it's Halliburton. But I do think that this team overall has just really grown based off of drafting. Bringing Isaiah Hartenstein was definitely an icing on the cake this offseason as well. But I definitely think that there are a lot of good guys on that team, a lot of talent that's on that team, and they're continuing to grow. And like you said, they're not done. They've got a continuation of draft picks, and they can make additional moves this offseason.
I am very impressed with that team. Again, I didn't know a lot about that team. I knew I was probably like the person you described. I knew SGA, I knew Caruso, being from Chicago and, knowing what he brought to the table here, what a phenomenal defender he is and how contagious his defensive mindset is on a team. And now I see why OKC traded for him because you need that type of guy. And it's not just that he defends, one-on-one guys. He plays phenomenal help defense. He's a pain in the ass. So he's dribbling. He might be guarding someone else, but he gets the hand in the passing lane. You're driving to the hole. He's getting his hand in there, knocking the ball out, and it's gotten. And I've seen it. I've seen it for years here, and I loved it. I was sad to when they let him go, but I see why they did that. Now, looking at this OKC team. You talked about the general manager, Presley. How important is it to be patient? Because that's the problem we're having here in Chicago. We draft, but it seems like we don't develop or we don't have the patience. We had a guy named Larry Market in here for a couple of seasons. He leaves us and becomes an all-star in Utah. How important is it or how easy is it for OKC to be patient with these young guys and develop them?
Different environments, different markets. I've spent significant time, as you know, in Chicago, but I spent significant time in Oklahoma as well. And Oklahoma is a college town. I remember spending about a week in Oklahoma and splitting time between working Thunder games, but also hanging out and going to Oklahoma Sooners games. And the environment is a lot different. I mean, when you go to Thunder games, it's pretty laid back. They literally have a prayer of invocation before the Star Spangled Banner. They're the only team that does that. You have people all the way up in the rafters playing. It's a drum line playing while the game is going on. You have a fan base that they don't sit down until the first basket is scored, and there's this recording. You may now take your seats. Like it's very different in Chicago. That being said, with that level of environment, I know metropolitan cities pretty well. Like that. When you talk about Larry Markkinen specifically, I spent some time with Larry during his draft process, and I remember people were talking about or comparing him to Dirk Nowitzki. I feel like just because he was tall, he was white, and he's from Europe, and I feel like that's kind of lazy basketball chatter. And in talking to Larry from Finland, he shared with me that he actually stayed up late to watch the 2006 NBA Finals, and that Dwayne Wade was one of his favorite players growing up. And then he talked about Kobe, and I feel like when Larry came to the league, he was in a spot where that level of tall, lanky basketball play was still foreign. And I don't feel like the Dirk comparison was accurate. I kind of feel like he's a tweener between a Dirk and a Bol and a Wemby, just, in the era of positionless basketball. And I think whoever scouted him out probably just pegged him as the Dirk type, so to speak. I feel like he's
a Dirk 2.0 type deal.
That is I don't think that's fair to his game, but I personally do think that when you look at Chicago specifically, sometimes I think they're in their own way. And I feel like a lot of it is the ghost that Michael Jordan was. And I think that's why, guys like LeBron, who, grew up in the Midwest, didn't grow up in Chicago, grew up in Cleveland, but had somewhat of a proximity to watching Jordan's greatness. There's a pressure to, there was a thought that he could come to Chicago, but I don't think that would have fit. And it's the same reason why someone like Kyrie Irving did not join the Knicks and went to Brooklyn and created his own identity with Kevin Durant. I think Chicago is in a situation where it's a great metropolitan city. The food is great. The people are nice, but the expectations are a little bit greater. And you don't have to play on Madison Avenue, hypothetically. Madison Avenue can come to you. And so you're seeing teams like Oklahoma be destination points. You're seeing teams like Indiana be destination points. You're seeing cities like Orlando, Milwaukee be places where guys can go there and win. Even Toronto, which is not just a city, it's a country. And as I've reported at length, Giannis Antetokounmpo does have a desire to either play for the Toronto Raptors or the Brooklyn Nets. I reported that back on May 14th. So, when you look at just Oklahoma and you look at Chicago, it's not about the big city anymore. It's about the team that's going to cater to you, that's going to allow you to be you, but at the same time, play good basketball.
Man, that's awesome. Guys, we're joined by Brandon Scoopy Robinson, NBA insider, talking NBA here on Shawn Sierra Sports on Sports Zone Chicago. How did Indiana get here? Like I like their play. They love to get up and down the court. It reminds me of old school, like a lot of old school stuff back in the day with Loyola Marymount, with the UNLV Rebels. They get up and go. And it seems like Tyrese Halliburton plays very, very well when they're in that up and down situation. How did they get here? Because, this like it was the blueprint set by the Golden State Warriors back in the day, and Indiana just kind of picked up on it again. Because how did they get here? Because only person I really knew on the team was Tyrese Halliburton.
Hustle. I think that team is comprised of more than just Tyrese Halliburton, as I mentioned. But last year, Pascal Siakam and Miles Turner and Tyrese Halliburton, all those guys, they've just grown and they've gelled. I think it started with the trade for Pascal Siakam with Toronto. Like, Indiana is a basketball state, first of all, but besides all that, it's also the additional pieces. Like Aaron Nesmith was actually on the Celtics 2022 Eastern Conference Championship team and didn't get a lot of playing time under head coach Ime Udoka, but really sat and watched guys like Jaylen Brown and others. And he's in a point where he was definitely a key contributor in game one of the Eastern Conference Finals. But there's other guys on the team. I think, it also starts with coaching. This is Rick Carlisle's second stint with the Pacers, and literally left the Pacers to go to the Pistons, and then he was between the Pistons, the Pacers, and then went to Dallas and won a championship. Like, he's been there before, 2011 when they beat the Miami Heat in the final. So he has championship experience. Left Dallas, came back to Indiana, and recommended his man Jason Kidd for the head coaching job in Dallas. So, you look at Rick Carlisle, he's no spring chicken. You guys can later today on my blog at scoopy.com check out an exclusive that I'll drop with NBA champion Metta World Peace. He and I talked on the phone last night, and he talked about Rick Carlisle, who he played under, and just how happy he is for that team, as well as the Pacers, and shared why he thinks he should be the head coach of the New York Knicks as well. That's a story for a different day, but make sure you guys check that out over at scoopy.com at the blog section. But when you look at just the Pacers overall, the thing that stands out to me is simply this: they knocked out three juggernauts in the Eastern Conference, people who many thought would be Eastern Conference champions, whether that be the Cleveland Cavaliers, who they knocked out quite handily, who was at the top of the game all season. Then, you beat the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis and all those guys there. And then you beat the Knicks. It's definitely, if I can use an analogy, I use it often. The Pacers are the epitome of that fourth cup of wine at the holiday party. They sneak up on you.
It does. It taps you on the shoulder like,
enough.
It takes you out, boy. I tell you, that's crazy. So I'm looking forward to an exciting, because I'll be watching it because I love basketball. Even though, like I said, I didn't know a lot of players on OKC or Indiana, but in watching the playoffs, the one thing that I like, it's great that they're two young teams, okay? Because this is where your legacies are built. No one gives a damn about the regular season. That's nice, 82 games, it's beautiful, but it's the postseason. That's where the stories begin, the folklore, the fairy tale, everything. Your legacy is built on a postseason. What do you do in the postseason? And now people are still watching the games, and it might be less, but there's going to be people who aren't familiar with SGA and the OKC Thunder and Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers. Now they're going to start to get to see these guys. They're going to say, "Oh, snap! These guys are pretty damn good." And this is where you make a name for yourself, become a household name. So I'm excited to watch this and have these young guys, these newer players, the future of the NBA, really get their due. So now we can start. LeBron's about to be faded out. Kyrie's been, KD. All these guys are getting they're at the back end of their career, and we need new stars. And this is a perfect time for these new stars to get to the finals and have a lot more eyes on them and get more people familiar with who they are.
Oh yeah, for sure, and even down to the coaching matchup. I spent some time with Coach Mark last week, and he and I are pretty much the same age, and I told him he's an old soul to be so young, and I asked him what his point of entry was to basketball and what he remembers most about the playoffs, and he talked about, he's from Massachusetts, and he talked about watching Paul Pierce go toe to toe in the playoffs and guide them, and I believe he said that was around 2004, 2005 when he remembers that being a thing, and that's interesting because Paul Pierce was a champion by 2008, and so it just kind of gives you a point of reference. I remember some years ago chatting with, you talk about the next generation of players. There's also the next generation of coaches, and
Right.
Taylor Jenkins, when he was the head coach of the Memphis Grizzlies, he and I joked. I said, "Listen, man, I've never seen you and Triple H in the same room. Are you Triple H?" And he was cracking up. And he talked about just his point of entry in college, where he was a grad assistant at UPenn, and he remembers Kyle Korver and Allen Iverson lighting it up in Philadelphia. And UPenn is not that far from the Wells Fargo Center where the Sixers play. And he later became an assistant coach in Atlanta, and Kyle Korver, who's now in that front office, was there as a player, and kind of gives you pause because you've seen Greg Popovich transition into president of basketball operations role as a former head coach with that team, and you see the Phil Jacksons are gone. You look around and it's a whole new game. You're seeing Carlisle, who's one of the OGs in the coaching ranks. You're seeing Tibbs getting older, and in that vein, and you're seeing all these younger coaches taking their place, their mantle there, and it's good to see Coach Mark being in that conversation. And if they win a championship for Oklahoma, I think that's great because Oklahoma has was the expansion team that was the Seattle Supersonics, and we've seen the Seattle Supersonics 96 go after the Chicago Bulls in 96 when they were 72-10, and want to make it Chicago somewhere, trying to shape that there. But ultimately to have the Oklahoma City Thunder have a championship and have their own identity, I think it's great for basketball as we're talking expansion teams coming in the next few years, and now there will be a break off between Oklahoma and then Seattle. If Seattle and Las Vegas are two of the teams that are believed to be an expansion team in the near future. So I think it's good for basketball. The Pacers, in and of itself, also interesting story, has been to the NBA Finals now twice, but has only won an ABA championship, has never won an NBA championship. So it's good to see not just the players, new faces there that become household names, but it's also cool to see teams expand. And I'll briefly say this, even from a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander perspective. He's Canadian of Antiguan descent. You're seeing the expansion of how much basketball really has become a game without borders. And he's the MVP. He's of island and Canadian descent. We've seen how the Toronto Raptors and Steve Nash and Vince Carter have influenced a whole generation of Canadian basketball players. You also look at Lou Dort, who is he's from Montreal, and he's of Haitian descent. So you have a lot of different cultures and ethnicities and countries representing throughout the NBA Finals.
Switch gears. We were talking about it right before you came on. Former Bulls head coach Tom Thibodeau gets released by the Knicks. It was definitely caught me. It came out of left field. Excuse me. It came out of left field for me. Did it come out of left? Was that a surprise for you? Because this guy just took them to the conference finals for the first time since the turn of the century, since 2000, to 25 years, back-to-back 50-win seasons since 1995. Now we're looking at 30 years. Why? What the hell happened in New York, and who are they going to look at? Because you got to get a guy to get him from point B. If you don't think he's the guy to get you from point B to C, who are they looking at to get him to point C?
So in answer to your first question, no, it wasn't a surprise. I got a call about 2 weeks ago from someone who said to me, if the Knicks do not win the Eastern Conference Finals, Tibbs will be fired. And look out for two names, Mike Malone and Lloyd Pierce, who's an assistant coach with the Indiana Pacers, and I tweeted that yesterday. But then overnight, another name I got a call last night, and the Knicks are interested in Jason Kidd heavily. Jason Kidd was actually in the coaching talks with the Knicks back in 2020 when he was an assistant coach with the Los Angeles Lakers under head coach Frank Vogel. And lucky for him, he did not proceed with that interview or the next process because the Lakers ended up winning the championship at the Orlando Bubble in 2020. And the Knicks ultimately hired Tom Thibodeau as their head coach, and he lasted for 5 years and guided them to their first Eastern Conference appearance, as you said, since in 25 years. But the Knicks, from what I understand, are interested and have started making calls to inquire about the availability of Jason Kidd as their next head coach, or at least in the coaching interview conversation. Mike Malone would be an easy guess, but one thing that I am a little skeptical about is, his rant about how coaches are being let go. I'm not sure if, he would want to take that coach, that job, or at least interview in that vein. He is very familiar with the area, being from Queens and then going to high school at Seacole Prep in West Orange, New Jersey. His dad was a longtime assistant coach, Brendan Malone, the late Brendan Malone, on the bench as an assistant, and of course was an assistant with the Detroit Pistons as well. So these are some of the names that are coming out. Johnny Bryant, who is a finalist for the head coaching position with the Phoenix Suns. He spent about 4 years as an assistant coach with the Knicks. He is one of 2 finalists, and I would imagine that if he is not the finalist, if he's not hired, the Knicks would double back and revisit. He was an associate head coach with that Knicks team some time ago. He was an associate with the Cleveland Cavaliers this year. So it's a lot of names that I'm hearing that are floating around, but Jason Kidd is someone that, James Dolan, the owner of the New York Knicks, has a good relationship with, Kidd having played for the Knicks years ago, and, we'll see what happens.
Wow, so you weren't surprised. It caught me by surprise. That's whew. I just, again, who are they going to get now? And Jason Kidd might be a good one that they feel can get them from point B to point C. Right. And it just surprised me because, again, it's not like they've been getting to the, Eastern Conference Finals or NBA Finals and losing. I get it. You get there a couple times and
right.
All right, you don't get there and you all right, we bring someone else in. Man, that's what he did in the last 2 seasons, because you got to get when you first start, like 5 years ago, you got to get your imprint on the team. You got to get players you want, then you can go. And they went through that process, and to get there, it just shocked me. And I was, again, I'm not as close to the Knicks like you are out in New York. So that's why it took me by surprise. I'm like, who the hell are they going to get? Jason Kidd sounds like a good replacement. Him being in the conversation.
Yeah, but of course, the Knicks have to get permission to interview him. I've heard that they started that process and there is interest, but I think from a perspective of the connection to Dallas and Kidd having played for the Mavs 2 times over, Brunson having played for the Mavs, and just the interconnectedness of basketball. Basketball is not that huge as far as the world.
Right.
I would imagine that he is definitely someone of interest. I know he is someone of interest from the Knicks, and I think Leon Rose and William Wesley and James Dolan will put their heads together and see if he is a viable candidate. If not, as I mentioned, Johnny Bryant, if he does not get the head coaching job with the Phoenix Suns, he'll be someone of interest, having come through that program. And there's other guys, Lloyd Pierce, as well as revisiting or seeing if Mike Malone is actually interested in that head coaching position. But from people I speak with, the Knicks have interest in bringing Jason Kidd to the New York metropolitan area.
Man, Big Scoopy, man, that was awesome stuff. I appreciate your time, but do me a favor before you go, let everybody know where they can find you and your work online.
Scoop B on Twitter and Instagram, and check out the Scoop B blog later today over at scoopb.com. You'll check out a piece that I wrote about my conversation last night with Meta World Peace, who wants to be the head coach of the Knicks, but he also talked about the NBA Finals and a myriad of other things as well.
Well, he's going to have to realize he can't be punching people if he's the head coach. Hey, Papa, great stuff, man. I appreciate your time, man. We'll be in touch soon. I promise it won't take as long as it did. That's all my fault, man. But glad to have you back and talking NBA hoops with me, man. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity, as always, to be myself.
All right, Papa. We'll talk soon. Be good.
Yes, sir.
That's Brandon Scoop B. Robinson, Mr. New York over there talking NBA hoops, Papa. And I am telling you what, I'm fired up. I am one of the few people I'm excited about this NBA final because a lot, as I told him, a lot of youngsters are going to get seen. A lot of people, there are going to be some new household names that we can talk about. New names. And that's good. It's good for the league. Okay. And the league needs, remember, that's one of the reasons Mike came back. I know one of the biggest reasons that he wanted to get asses in the seats, or he said that he wanted to come back to make sure the game was in good hands, and it was back then. And at this point, there was a time where I'm like, yeah, I don't really, because I didn't really know a lot of the stars. And here's a chance. 2 youngsters, Tyrese Halliburton, SGA being the league MVP, going to be on the NBA's biggest stage. And then you're going to see all the teammates, the posse, other people who are going to make noise. Alex Caruso has a chance to become a really, really popular household name. A lot of people know who Alex Caruso is because he's had a lot of stops with the Lakers, okay, with us, now with OKC. So a lot of people know about Alex Caruso and what he does, but there are a lot of other cities and other people who don't. So it's a good thing for expansion of the league, not expansion, but the awareness of a lot of these smaller second or third tier stars in the league. And I think that's important. Oh, wow. King Booker Wilson, tired of the same old teams in the finals. Yeah, you got some new blood. And I'll tell you what, I think a lot of youngsters, all right, a lot of youngsters might be in on this, and it could help the ratings, be close to where the NBA really wants them. Because a lot of the youngsters know this is the new generation. 20 to 25, 35-year-old guys, all right, they may be more familiar with these guys because it's their generation. And the broadcasting of the social media, the intimacy that people and fans have with their players, because I follow him on Snap, I follow him on Instagram, I follow him on Facebook, and this and that, and there's a lot more familiarity between the younger generation and the younger generation of younger generations of fan and player. So we'll see. I think it's going to be good, and I agree. I'm tired of the same old teams, and you want new blood. You want to see new stuff. King Booker World, you're in line. OC going to be a problem for years. Man, I'll tell you what, they got some draft picks. They got a lot of draft picks. Whew. I don't know. Man, if they win this, get another couple, And here's the most important thing that I like. OKC drafts pretty well, but they develop very well too. And that's huge. Drafting, developing, and patience with these youngsters. Because remember, when you get good players, they're a year out of high school, coming out of high school, you're talking 18, 19-year-old kids. They are no way prepared for the life of a multi-million-dollar professional. Now, NIL has helped that. Players come in the league with a little more seasoning on being $1 million athlete, but it's still not being in a professional league. All right, you technically still got to go to class, which I know many don't, especially after the first semester. If you get by the first semester, a lot of these guys don't go to class. They just say, hey, bump it. I'm leaving anyway after the first year. I'm just going to sit here and party, whatever. But Mashawn, you're damn right. The Bulls don't do these things very well. They don't draft very well. No, and let me take that back. They do draft well. They don't develop well. Let's go back and talk about who they've drafted. All right, look at the people they've drafted that are contributors to other teams. All right, you got Daniel Gafford. Okay. Don't forget about Daniel Gafford. Don't forget about oh goodness. Bobby Portis. I couldn't think. I was about to say Crazy Eyes. Bobby Portis. Okay. And Daniel Gafford, Bobby Portis. Another one that I can't think of. It's on the tip of my tongue. So they draft. It wasn't him. No. They can draft okay, but the development's been the problem. Now, the issue now is we got a new developmental team. And we've seen development from some players. We've seen development from Kobe. We've seen development from Io. We've seen it from Dale and Terry. We've seen these guys. All right, we've seen these guys. Yeah, you can't hit on all of them, but I hear you. They don't draft well. May I remind you of Denzel Valentine and Patrick Williams? It's not. I'm not saying that. I mean, but no GM. There's a lot of players that GMs have drafted that just don't make the cut. All right. So for every person that has playing well for another team that we drafted, you can come up with people that they drafted that didn't play well, like Denzel Valentine and P. Won't. But I think they have a new developmental team. All right, for some reason, Patrick Williams is just a head case. I believe he's just a head case, can't get out of his own way. We've seen him dominate in small spurts, and we're like, why can't you do this on a consistent basis? I don't know. But they got one. They got one in Matas. All right, you got Giddey. I know you didn't draft Giddey. You got Kobe. We've definitely seen the development of Kobe. Julian Phillips has played big roles. We drafted him. Matas Buzelis. Okay, the development of him, that's only after 1 year. Cornelius, you ain't lying. The Patrick Williams pick really hurt the Bulls because you could have drafted Tyrese Halliburton. He got picked up after P. Won't. So there's a lot of, and trust me, a lot of people, a couple of other teams passed on Halliburton. But it sucks when you get the wrong guy. King Booker Rose says, what do we scream in Chicago, Shawn? He goes, you go, I-O, I-O. That's funny. Well, excited to see what the Bulls do. Got a lot of youngsters. They're going to have to get some contracts out. To Josh Giddey is one of them. We'll see. See who they can get with the 12th pick. Does Matas develop? I'll tell you what. If Matas, and he's going to do more than this, but if Matas didn't do anything but stay in the weight room this offseason, he'll be better next year. And I know he's going to be playing basketball, so don't get crazy. They might send him to the summer league. Probably send him. They should send him to the summer league. They should. Say, look, Papa, we need you to get stronger. We need you to play, against these college and NBA players, improve your game, and I'm sure they will. But he's also going to get stronger. And I told you, I can't wait for the beginning of 26-27. I'm still here watching 25-26, but I can't wait till he gets stronger. Give me 2 off seasons of hitting the weights, and I can't wait to see how much muscle Matas will put on. Just, you know. You're stupid. No me matas. Oh, yeah. Matas! That's right. Oh, man. But I heard you, Black Diamond. Like, we'd like every draft pick to be a hit, but it just doesn't happen that way. It just doesn't happen that way. And that's why when you get players, you have to be able to develop them. You have to be able to develop who you draft. Because you can still draft the best person, the best player, let me say. But if you don't develop them, well, what good is it? Cornelia says, I thought I'd never be saying this, but the problem with the Bulls is they need another Jerry Krause. Man, you ain't never lied on that one, dog. You ain't never lied. Man. Sleuth. Remember, that's what they called him, sleuth. Michael Jordan called him crumbs, but anyway. I agree. So Matas can be a Greek freak type of player. Yeah. With the attitude so young. That's the crazy part. The attitude and the mindset. So at such a young age. Well, switching gears a little bit. The Bears are at mini camp. And here's the okay. Swift was asked by our guy Herb Howard how he deals with the chatter about the rumors. We need a running back. 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 Here's what he said.
As you hear it going through the offseason, the Bears got to get a running back. The Bears got to do this because Drake can't do that. How do you deal with those types of things?
What can I do?
At the time, I don't agree with it, but I want to know how you deal with it, the perception of it.
Everybody got an opinion and entitled to their own opinion. My job is to come in here and continue to work. And like I said, I'm excited for this season. I know who I am and what I'm about. So that's all. I was thankful for another opportunity going into the season.
That's a great answer. You know, he kind of came back. What can I do? If I was there, I would have been like, hey, after your ability to run in between the tackles, which I doubted last year, and saw you be productive doing that, I don't see that there's anything that you can't do. Because that was the one thing that I had in my head. Like, okay, man, we need a guy who could run between the tackles. I don't think DeAndre Swift could run between the tackles. Boy, he proved me wrong. And not that he's a bruiser going to bounce off of people and knock people over, knock over linebackers. No, just because you're run between the tackles doesn't mean you have to be that type of runner. You saw him hurdle over the LA Ram and house it. Okay, we also saw him hit the outside and house it. I agree. King Booker Will says Swift's going to come in with heavy watch me vibes this season. And he should. You know what? And I don't know if it's the Bears that started this or if it was just the media. Whatever it is, he's got a chip on his shoulder right now. And I couldn't ask for anything more than that. Having a guy like that have a chip on their shoulder. Let me see. Yeah, it's fine. You do need another running back. I would like, you know what? And maybe Roschon Johnson can be that power dude in short yardage situation. But I don't know. I'm not sold on him. I'm not sold on Roschon Johnson at all. I'm not. Cornelius said, I'm not concerned with Swift. What I'm concerned about is who's going to be the big back to pair with him. That was supposed to be Roschon Johnson. But Roschon Johnson hasn't lived up to that billing. And that's annoying and bothersome to me. It's annoying and bothersome to me. And I wish all they kept talking about was what a great human being he was. He's a great man. What a great person. What a great person. What a great person. All right, why are you talking about that and not what type of he's a great football player. Yes, I get you. I get the fact that I understand that you want good people, but you got to have good football players. And at some point, I'm definitely not a big fan of Roschon Johnson. Yeah. King Booker World said, man, did y'all see one guy on that blocking drill yesterday? I'm telling you now, he's RB2. I hear you, but he's the same size, or he's the same height as DeAndre Swift. Now, different types of running backs. He can take a little more pounding. No, did he? He can deal with contact, keep his balance, and continue running. He can do that, but I don't want another 5'8", 5'9" guy. Give me a 6-foot running back, 6'2" 2.25". Seems like that's what Roschon Johnson was supposed to do, but he hasn't done it. No, did he? I had to. He hasn't done it, and that's the thing that bugs me. Here's some more stuff. Cole Kmet or DJ Moore they asked him about his body language yesterday. Here's what he had to say.
Just don't do it. Just keep it inside. We talk about it later, and just don't put it on film. Don't put it on TV, so you guys can't run with it. So that's how it is. Be honest right now, and then we ain't gonna talk about it. I did it once, and then it nipped it in the butt, and it's never happened again.
And they asked him, how do they stop? He said, I just refuse to do it. Body language is a big thing for that clip courtesy of the Chicago Bears. He's a big thing for Ben Johnson. Big point of emphasis for him. I get it. All right, I don't want this. When things happen, bad things happen. When good things, and here's the thing. Here's what he wants. When good things happen, no big deal. When bad things happen, no big deal. All right, don't get so overly frustrated with the bad things because it's part of the game. It's part of the game. And you being a palms up guy doesn't help. It shows weakness. It shows possible dissent in the team. I get it. It makes sense. King Booker Will says, never was a Rojo guy. He's this close to losing his nickname. I gave him a chance. I didn't like him. Hopefully Ian Wheeler takes Rashawn's job. Well, he was having a problem with the blocking sled yesterday. Yeah. I was like, come on, bro. You've never hit one of these things? He was very slow and deliberate with it. Like a linebacker's not going to let you hit him that slow and deliberate. Not that slow and deliberate. And yeah, Eric Eric sleeping with the enemy told him yesterday, run it again. Told him to do it again. But I agree. No, I agree. It's his first day back. Really wasn't looking good yesterday for first day back. I hear you. You got to be ready to roll, Papa. You got to be ready to roll. Because yeah. You just got to be ready to roll. Let's see. Then they're looking, and here's one of the things, and I'm hearing a lot of people talk about this, and it gets a little annoying. Like, relax. All right, and I know it's off season. There's not a lot to talk about, so people are always looking for shit to talk about. Mr. Shorty said, I'm gonna borrow Sleeping with the Enemy with your permission tomorrow. Permission, Shawn. Oh, you can do it. That was Chris Berman's nickname for him. So yes. We was coming off a bad knee injury, so it would take a miracle if he comes all the way back. He wouldn't be out there if he wasn't cleared. So what he's got to fight through is the mental aspect of it. The mental aspect of it. That's what he's got to do. He's got to trust himself. He's got to trust his knee. And it's tough. It's tough. I don't know if he's going to do it. I don't know if he's wired like that. I don't know. But the thing that really bugged me and it annoys me, everyone's talking about Ozzy Trapillo in the tackle position. People say, well, people ask, one of the reporters asked, is Ozzy getting the upper hand? And everybody's asking these things. Like, you can't tell. Stop asking stupid-ass questions. Stop asking stupid-ass questions. You know damn well that nothing's going to be decided until they put the pads on. You cannot assess someone, an offensive lineman, without getting him in pads. You can't. My goodness, they're asking, does he have an advantage? Does he have an advantage? Does Ozzy have an advantage? Does Braxton Jones have an advantage? Does Kieran Amagaji have an advantage? They're not in pads. You cannot assess an offensive lineman unless they're in pads. End of story. This is one of the frustrating things about media. You can't do it. You just can't. Yes. Have you noticed the little subtlety was Ben Johnson hints that the media asked dumbass questions? Yes, I've seen it. I've heard it. Speaking of him, here's what Ben Johnson had to say about that position.
Is something specific that you're looking for to say for a guy that he's taking a hold of this job? This is now his job, and it's somebody else's to train.
I always go back. To me, the number one job of an offensive tackle, doesn't matter right or left, is to pass protect. And so you need to be able to block their best pass rusher one-on-one. And that's, to me, that's the number one job. And everything we can get out of them in the run game will be gravy on top of it. But we got to find out who the best pass protector is, the most consistent pass protector is. And really that's for all five guys up front.
And again, ask that question: what can they do to say they have a hold of it? There's nothing. There's no depth chart right now at all. But you can't give a guy a left tackle job without seeing him in pads. You just can't do it. So stop asking those dumbass questions. Man, when I was coaching at Bogan, we went out to Evergreen Park. All right, we was in the summer, had a little scrimmage together, and at first was like a 7-on-7. We had individual drills. Running backs versus linebackers, wide receivers versus DBs. They're DBs, and vice versa. And man, we were killing them. We had such athletic players at the skill position. Man, we were at Charlie. and our kids are getting fired up, and they're kind of a little, I don't want to say talking shit, but talking down to them, just a little, maybe a little too much confidence. We went inside drill. They whooped our ass. Whooped our ass. We weren't hooting and hollering after that. Football is a game. It's a collision sport. And the only way you can evaluate the people up front and the running backs for that matter are when you get pads on. This is why I got into one of the reasons I got into sports broadcasting. People asking silly questions to football people. If you notice anything that can say he's got an upper hand, no one's got an upper hand. We are in shorts. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Junior says, I remember guys in the D-line who thought they were all world, and when they got in the pass, completely disappeared when we could hit them in pass. Yeah, they come in, they got big muscles, and they're like, oh, and they act crazy, and they think you're scared. I'm like, I ain't scared. Bro, cálmate, way. You got to tell these big jokers, man. Oh, man, well, listen. 2 hours is coming and going. I want to thank my guest, Brandon Scoopy Robinson, for coming out talking NBA Finals with me. I appreciate it, B. Great stuff. Make sure you go check out his blog on Scoopy.com with his interview, his latest interview that he had last night with Meta World Peace. Another Chicago Bull that we drafted, Ron Artest. But hey, listen, we got to run. But I will tell you this. This will be back on at 6 o'clock tonight. And like I tell you all the time, let your loved ones know you love them because tomorrow is promised to no one. Reach out to your people. Let them, all right, set up plans for lunch, brunch, breakfast, dinner, drinks, happy hour, whatever. Do yourself that favor because time moves. Time and tide wait for no man. I told you. A week turns into a month, turns into 6 months, turns into 2 years, turns into 5 years. It moves fast. So don't do that to yourself or the people that you claim you love. Reach out to them, set up a time, get together. All right? So listen, again, it's going to be on tonight at 6 o'clock. And for everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Guys, have a phenomenal, phenomenal day. I know it's rainy, but you know what? You woke up. You're on the wake-up list. So today was a great day. Remember that. Waking up with an attitude of gratitude is important. Or an attitude of gratitude. There's a lot of people who didn't wake up today who had a lot of plans for today. Okay? Maybe going on vacation. Maybe taking their kids to school. Maybe going to see their kid play sports. And they didn't wake up. You did. Be grateful. Be grateful for it. All right? So from everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. I am out.